Hello everyone and welcome back to another Star Wars figure review. Next up for today we're going to be taking a look at another figure from the Clone Wars line. This time around it's Obi-Wan Kenobi in his cold weather gear, which is a nice continuation of the Trespass themed figures. Obviously I showed you Thai Sen and cold weather gear Anakin not so long ago, so this is a great figure to tie in with those. At first glance he looks like a repaint of the cold weather gear Anakin, although it may interest you to find out that this guy is completely new. He's a lot thinner than the cold weather gear Anakin, you know, he's not as bulky, and obviously he's wearing a completely different colour outfit, which doesn't have anything to do with the sculpt necessarily, but you know, it does distinguish him somewhat from Anakin. So before I get onto the figure, I'm going to give you a look at the packaging he comes in. I absolutely love the image at the top of the card. Very nice picture of Obi-Wan there. On the back you've got an image of the figure, as well as a still image from the episode Trespass, and I'll just quickly read from the description on the back. Obi-Wan wears cold weather gear to protect himself from the icy conditions on Orto Plutonia. The Jedi Master is part of a team that investigates the disappearance of clone troopers stationed on the snow-covered world in the Pantora system. So there's the packaging. I think I touched base on this in my cold weather gear Anakin review. If you remember, that figure had the hood down, whereas this figure has the hood up. Unfortunately there's no running change or there's no alternate hood included with either of these figures. You know, it's either the hood up or the hood down, you don't get a choice. What I would have really liked to have seen done is something similar to the Clone Wars Plo Koon figure, in which we saw both a hood up and a hood down packed in with it, so we could alternate and pick and choose between the two. I think that would have been really cool. There's some nice detail in the hood there. Fantastic sculpt. The hood can be removed, and you've got to actually be quite careful with this one, because if you pull it off too hard, if you're not too careful with it, it will do that. The goggles will get caught in the hood, and then you've got to try and fight your way to try and get them out, which is quite difficult at the best of times. So quite a irritating figure in that sense. Just try and get the goggles out. There we go. The head sculpt underneath the hood is absolutely phenomenal. I'll try and zoom in on that for you actually, to get a better look at it. There you go. Hope you can see that. Doesn't really want to focus today. There we go. I think aside from the space gear Obi-Wan Kenobi, this is definitely one of the most accurate head sculpts we've seen on Obi-Wan from the Clone Wars. You know, the original head sculpt wasn't very good, so hopefully at some point we will see an updated standard Obi-Wan with a new head. The hood does fit nicely when the goggles aren't on, although it does tend to flop about a little bit. There you go. And you can of course have the goggles either on top of his cap, like that, or you can have them over his eyes, like that. A bit wonky there. There we go. As you can see, he's got the Jedi symbol printed on his coat, and articulation wise he has a ball jointed neck, ball hinged shoulders and elbows, swivel wrists, a swivel waist, swivel hips and ball hinged knees. No articulation in the ankles unfortunately. The hood is quite tricky to get back on while the goggles are in place. It does tend to push them down a little bit, which is something I'm not too keen on. It does get a little bit annoying from time to time. You know, you've got to take the hood on and off several times to get it to fit properly, but I think that's as best we're going to get it. Obviously it comes with his trademark lightsaber as well, which is actually a new sculpt. It's a lot bulkier and a lot thicker than the previous Obi-Wan lightsabers. We actually first saw this one with the Space Gear Obi-Wan. Very cool figure. As you can see, his other hand is either doing a peace symbol or he's, you know, doing a Jedi mind trick or something, which is pretty cool. Or if you turn it around the other way, if you're familiar with unpleasant gestures, just try and get it. There we go. Giving the finger to the separatists. So very cool figure, highly recommend it. And if you've got the Cold Weather Gear Anakin, the Freako Speeder, Thyssen and the Cold Weather Gear Captain Rex, then this figure is a must have for a Trespass themed display. Hope you've enjoyed having a look at this figure. Be back with more soon. Until then, as always, keep collecting and may the Force be with you.